Have you ever sat by your window, looking out at the world, and wondered, what really keeps our minds clear as the years unfold? What little things, done each day, help those memories, the ones so precious, stay bright and easy to reach? I ask myself this sometimes, sitting in my old armchair with the afternoon sun warming my legs. So today, let's talk together, just you and me, about 7 daily habits that help keep the mind sharp after 70. I'm Albert, and this is Golden Age Wisdom, where we sit a spell, and I share gentle thoughts and helpful bits on living well. As we walk through these habits together, I hope you'll find memories stirred and maybe even a few new ideas you hadn't thought about in a while. Our minds, after all, are a bit like an old garden. They need tending, a little water, some sunlight, patience, and the right hands to keep them blossoming, even as the seasons change. It's easy to let that garden go, but if you give it just a little bit of love and steady care, well, it can surprise you with its resilience. Let's take this slow, and I'll share stories from my life and the friends I've known. See if any of these daily habits call out to you. The first habit: start each day with gentle curiosity. I've always said, a curious mind is a young mind. You don't need to become a scholar or memorize facts. I'm talking about little moments of wonder, the kind you had as a child. When Harold, my old bowling buddy, wakes up, he sits with his coffee and asks himself, "What will I notice today?" Sometimes it's the bird at the feeder, sometimes a new bloom on the hydrangea, or the shape of a cloud. This habit isn't about puzzles or crosswords, though those have their place. It's about inviting small questions into your morning. Why did the robin choose that branch? What was the first song you ever danced to? These questions are the gentle stretching of your mind, like flexing your old legs before a stroll. In my own mornings, I like to read one article from the newspaper I'd usually skip, maybe the technology section or something about art. I don't understand everything, but that's all right. The point is to wander outside the well-worn paths. I remember Dorothy from the library group telling me how she'd scan the headlines for a word she didn't know, then look it up. "Makes me feel like a detective," she'd say with a twinkle. You're never too old to be curious. Staying open to little wonders, that keeps the circuits of your mind humming and alive. So tomorrow, as you greet the day, ask a small question. See where it takes you. Now, the second habit: keep your body moving however you can. I know what you're thinking. We all hear about exercise. It can sound like such a chore, especially with knees that ache and backs that complain in the morning. But movement isn't about running marathons, my friend. Our minds are tied to our bodies, a lesson I've learned again and again. Take Ruth, for example. Years ago, when her husband passed away, she told me she felt herself slowing down, inside and out. One morning, she decided to walk to the mailbox at the end of the street instead of waiting for her son to bring the letters in. That little walk became her ritual. First the mailbox, then half a block. Now she's a regular on the neighborhood benches, chatting with folks as she passes. Movement gets the blood flowing, but it also shakes the cobwebs loose from your mind. I know a fellow, Bill, who does stretches in the living room before reaching for the TV remote. He calls it greasing the wheels. Even 10 minutes lifting your heels off the floor, circling your arms, or dancing a little jig to your favorite record can do wonders. Movement signals your brain, we're still here, let's not get rusty. If you're able, take in the world as you move. Feel the air on your face. Notice the colors in your neighbor's flowers. Wave at the children passing by. These little observations, mixed with gentle motion, wake up sleepy corners of your mind. It doesn't have to be grand, just steady, just yours. Let me pause a moment, friend, and ask, what small thing do you do each day to keep active? Is it watering the tomatoes, making the bed, or a slow stroll around your living room? I'd love to hear about your own routines. Please, share your stories in the comments below. We're a community here, and your experience, well, it might light the way for someone else. If you like these gentle reminders, don't forget to subscribe so we can share more moments together. Now, on to our third habit. Feed your mind with simple pleasures. Not every meal for your mind needs to be a feast. Sometimes it's the simple pleasures. A favorite poem, a crossword puzzle, working on a jigsaw. Feeding your brain doesn't have to be hard work. I think of my friend Harold again. He keeps an old deck of playing cards and challenges himself each night to remember who taught him every game. Even if he can't recall, he'll try to picture the faces and laughter from long ago. I have a well-worn book of short stories. I liked reading to my wife in the evenings, especially after supper. There's something about sharing a story aloud that makes it more real. The words, the cadence. Even now, when I read alone, I'll sometimes speak the sentences softly, like she's still there listening. Or take music. Dorothy keeps a record player in her den and says playing her favorite songs from the 50s brings back whole afternoons. The sound of her mother humming in the kitchen or dances in old gymnasiums. Listening, singing along, letting a melody stir memories. That's feeding your mind in the sweetest way. The point is, allow yourself these small joys. They wake your memory, spark conversation, and fill the quiet hours with color. Even something as simple as arranging patterns of dominoes or sorting old buttons invites your mind to play and recall. So, make time for those simple pleasures. You'll be surprised which memories rise to the surface. Our fourth habit, connect with others. Even if it's just for a moment. The mind thrives in company, like a plant waking up after gentle rain. Time alone has its virtues, but something special happens when you share space, a laugh, or even a sigh with another person. Bill, who lives down the hallway from me, sometimes knocks to borrow a cup of sugar. He doesn't really need it. We both know that. It's the visit he wants. A chance to swap a story, talk about baseball, or chuckle over an old joke. In those moments, we each feel a little less alone, and my thoughts seem brighter somehow. Ruth, too, is a regular on the phone with her sister every Sunday at 3. They talk about recipes, grandchildren, and memories they've chewed over 1,000 times. Yet each time, she says she feels lighter. Sharing a memory brings it into the light, she told me once, so it doesn't get dusty and lost. Even a wave at the mailman, a brief chat with the grocery clerk, or a conversation with your pet can lift your spirits. I remember when my granddaughter, Jenny, was small, she'd sit on my knee and ask about the olden days. Her questions were simple. Did they have ice cream when you were young? Did you have a favorite bike? Retelling those stories not only made her smile, but helped me cement the tales for myself. We're not meant to be islands, friend. A mind left alone grows heavy. So find a reason each day to connect. A letter, a call, a wave, or a word. Your mind will thank you, and your heart will too. Let's pause here just a moment more. As you listen, if any one of these habits sparks a memory or you think, oh, I'd do something like that, I'd love for you to share down below. It's a gift, reading one another's notes, and I'm always eager for your stories. And if you find this chat comforting or helpful, do me the kindness and tap the like button. It lets me know you'd like more visits like this. Onward, now, to our fifth habit. Notice the world around you. Use all five senses. When you're young, you take in the world at a gallop. But with time, you learn the blessing of savoring. Each sense is a window to memory. The scent of apple pie cooling, the tickle of grass on bare feet, the chime of a neighbor's wind bell. When you intentionally take stock, really notice with your full attention, it lights up your brain in ways you might not expect. Let me tell you about Edna, who lived 3 doors down from me growing up. She could tell you the weather by the feel of the air before sunrise. "Smell that rain coming," she'd say, or "Listen to the hush in the trees." At first, I thought she was pulling my leg, but as I got older, I realized she'd taught herself to pay attention. Noticing the little things, the details, made her memory sharp, even into her 90s. There was a spring not long ago when I'd lost track of the days. Each felt the same. So I started a notebook and, every morning, wrote down one thing I'd noticed with my senses. The chirp of a cardinal, the taste of lemon in my tea, the feel of warm dishwater on my hands. Each jotting was a small blessing, and gradually my world felt bigger, my mind more agile. Try it. Next time you eat, close your eyes and savor the taste. When you hear laughter, let yourself really listen. When sunlight lands on your arm, notice how it warms your skin. These small moments build a stronger map in your brain. It's surprising sometimes how noticing a smell or a sound can call up an old story or comfort a difficult day. Sixth habit. Keep a little routine, but leave room for something new. There's a comfort in routine, familiar paths for your day to follow. I always fill the kettle at exactly 7 in the morning, same as I did when I worked at the mill. Then comes the crossword, a few arm circles, and breakfast with the radio. Routines are like a warm blanket, keeping you steady, giving each day its bones. But, and this is important, don't let routine become a rut. Harold, who spent years fishing on Lake Erie, once told me that even the best sailors need to open a new sail now and then. He meant that while routine keeps you grounded, a little change, even if it's small, keeps you alert. Maybe you swap the order of your morning. Take your tea on the porch instead of the kitchen table. If you always call your daughter in the evening, try writing her a postcard midday. If you usually read mysteries, borrow a biography from the library. Each little twist to your habit stirs the pot, wakes up the mind. I tried learning to cook something new last year, a spicy chili, not my wife's recipe, but my granddaughter's. I burned the first batch beyond recognition, but the laughter was worth it. The point isn't mastery or perfection, but the willingness to try. So yes, build your days on solid ground, but every once in a while, open a window. See what breeze comes in. Seventh and final habit. Rest well and reflect with kindness. You can't run a car on an empty tank, and you can't keep your mind sharp without good rest. That means sleep, yes, but also giving yourself moments to be quiet, to breathe, and to forgive yourself for what you forgot or left undone. My old friend Gladys had a saying, "Never judge a day by what you failed to finish. Instead, count the little things you did right." At night, before she slept, she'd name 3 things she was thankful for. Some days it was as simple as, the sun was shining, the cat purred, or the soup tasted good. Reflection isn't self-critique. It's looking back on your day with gentle eyes. Did you call a friend? Did you remember a tune? Did you try something new, if only for a moment? Give yourself credit. Let your mind settle into sleep knowing you tended your life as well as you could. Sometimes my mind races at bedtime, lists and worries growing long. So I tell myself, as if I were speaking to a young child, "It's all right, you've done enough. We'll try again tomorrow." That simple kindness, I find, helps me rest and greet the morning with a mind refreshed. To bring these 7 habits together, I see them like well-worn stones on a path. Each one helps us come home to ourselves again and again. Curiosity, movement, simple pleasures, connection, noticing, a gentle routine with a twist of newness, and kindness to yourself always. As I sit here, sharing these thoughts, I think of all the old friends and loved ones who've walked ahead. Each lived these habits in their own way. Ruth with her daily walks and Sunday calls, Bill with his living room stretches and card games, Dorothy with her music and her word games. We are stitched together by these little acts of daily care. It's never too late. Whether you're 70 or 90, your mind still wants sunlight, water, and gentle tending. These habits aren't cures, but they are gifts, ways to keep the flame bright, even as the night draws in. Before we part, I want to thank you for sharing this time with me. If you have a habit that keeps your mind agile or a memory sparked by these words, share it down below. Your wisdom could be the beacon someone else needs. And if you felt a bit of comfort here, please like this video, subscribe, and maybe even share it with a friend who'd appreciate a gentle word. We grow, not just from what we remember, but from sharing in each other's company. I hope these habits land softly in your heart and guide your days ahead. Until our next visit, this is Albert, wishing you curiosity, connection, and the simple joy of reflection. Take care now.